Ancient civilizations tend to value interdependence more so than independence. They have seen too much war, invasion, disease, and disaster over the course of centuries to leave anyone to fend for themselves. They look to previous generation for guidance through present-day turmoil. On the other hand, young civilizations often define themselves against an oppressive past. They placed high value on striking out alone and making one's way and discovering new things. We solved a lot of problems during these past 2 years, bringing our best selves to the effort. Unfortunately, we also created a bunch too. As had been the case since the pandemic started, the virus wasn't the source of the problems. It simply laid bare our worst instincts. One thing that sincerely concerns me is the erosion of civility that we are seeing and the loss of respectful discourse amongst really important people as we tackle really important problems. As the pandemic forces Americans to realize the limits of our ethos of rugged individualism and reckon with the fact that we simply cannot snap our fingers and fix everything or pack our bags and just go away, I'm hopeful that this country can begin blending American ingenuity with ancient endurance. The one is necessary for us to be who we are, and the other one is necessary for us to stay who we are. As I stepped up in March 2020 to help lead Nashville through a monumental crisis for which there was no easy answer or easy exit, I became aware that this country had become one big schoolyard playground. Bullies were everywhere. When they began to come after me, I did what I had done as a kid. I shrugged off the attacks. I told myself I didn't care. And that wasn't true. Of course I cared. Everybody cares. People need to be supported and uplifted by their communities and not torn down. Yet something else happened to me after I accepted this position as head of the task force. I entered a realm of civic leadership that reminded me of walking through the doors of MLK in 1991. Always with the full support of the National Board of Health and the members of the health department staff, I joined daily with Mayor Cooper and his staff, Chiefs Will Swan and Jay Survey of Nashville Fire, Dr. James Hildreth and Patrick Johnson, who's joining us today, of Meharry Medical College, and Dr. Adrian Battle of MNPS. No one ever folded or allowed the divisiveness that characterizes the present state of our body politic to dissuade them from taking responsibility and making the tough decisions for the people they serve. These individuals freely taught me the lessons in leadership. Among them were these: it is adversity rather than ease that defines leaders. Those who would presume to step up must put the needs of others ahead of their own and band together to address them. The best leaders have the courage of their convictions and stay the course, even in the face of withering criticisms. They're also willing to change course despite their pride when shown a better way. And they freely admit their mistakes and keep trying to do their best. And most important of all, they recognize that work of leading is never done. There will always be new challenges and require new solutions and fresh resolve. I am one doctor who led one task force in one American city. I was called a hero one day and a villain the next, and of course, neither was true. I did my best for the institution that gave me the green light to serve, Vanderbilt. I did my best for my city. I did my best for my family, my friends, and colleagues, but I never did my best alone. Ultimately, it was not my fight to lead, but to share. There's a saying in trauma surgery that all bleeding stops. I don't have the answers for how or when, but I do believe it will be soon, and I believe that we will recover. I have faith in our country's capacity to do whatever we set our minds to. We overcame impossible challenges in Nashville, we overcame them nationally, and we can do it again. But until the bleeding stops, we must endure with all the grace we can muster, whether we consider ourselves leaders or not. We must hold our families close and treat one another with respect and compassion. We must care about others more than ourselves, and we must leave no one behind.